happy when it rains and when I leave Houston. Boomer and Carton on the Fan, Super Bowl 51. So why not a little baseball while we're down here for the Super Bowl? You know, in the history of Major League Baseball, Booms,
Yes.
there are 3 men, and only 3 men, 3 of them, to win the MVP and the League Championship Series, having played for the losing team. Now, one of those guys is Jeffrey Leonard for the '87 Giants, all right? Another one of those guys is sitting to your right. The third guy is Fred Lynn, who did it, I think, in '82 for the Angels. The third man that won the MVP, despite playing for the losing team, and thank God it didn't go to Game 7, is former Met and former Houston Astro, Mike Scott, who won the Cy Young Award that year as well. Mike, Boomer, and Craig, how you doing, buddy?
Great to be here.
We hate you.
No, we don't.
No,
You won.
As a player.
You won.
Yeah.
We hated you as a player, and we were so happy that the marathon Game 6 went our way, because had you come out in Game 7, it was over for us. That's how we felt. And I imagine you felt the same way.
You know what? You never know. But and the Mets said that after they
You were
didn't
dominant.
But you go to Game 7, anything can happen. And Keith Hernandez was the same way. We didn't have a chance, but it wasn't that long ago I heard him say something. They talked about that again. He goes, you know what? We would have probably found a way. And that year they did. They just found a way.
It was their year. There's no
Yeah.
question about that. You know, Mike and I were just talking. You retired in '91.
Yeah.
Right. So I retired in '97. I saw the steroid use throughout football, you know, my entire career. You were talking to me off the air. We were talking about that. You were saying how you never really saw it until you saw like AAA players.
Yeah, that's where I
using
first
it.
noticed it. It was the 5-6 year career AAA guys that can't get over the hump and get to the big leagues, and then these guys started coming up, and it's like, wow, they figured it out. I didn't know what they figured out. I thought,
Right.
but that was when I first saw it, and I was out when all the really good players were doing it.
Yeah.
But it's a tough call.
You know, it's kind of interesting. So you noticed it as a real performance enhancer.
Yeah.
Like some people say, doesn't matter if Barry Bonds did it or not because he could hit a baseball.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not going to improve your hitting of a baseball. But it obviously it did in your eyes.
Well, what it did is the warning track home runs are now home runs. And
Okay.
you're turning an out into a home run.
Unless
That's a
you
big
play
difference.
for the Mets. Then they're just outs.
Well, nobody took steroids. How about that? No, I'm sure there were a few
I'm
Mets
with
that
you.
took steroids.
Like you,
as well.
I would think, to follow on Boomer's question, you understand the mentality of why they do it, yes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I heard Bob Gibson make a statement. I think he's one of the best ever. I really do. And he said, you know what, I can't sit here and tell you that if it was around and everybody else was doing it, I'm not going to say I would do it, but I'm not going to tell you I wouldn't either. You know, if it's presented to me and these guys are bombing home runs and this average guy turns out to be great and they're passing me up.
When did you notice that pitchers were going to go that way?
You know, it was way after I retired because I thought it was just hitters.
Right.
You know, when we came up, pitchers, and we're like golfers. They don't want to bulk up. You want to keep your range of motion, and it's a different type of exercise. And it was like Tiger Woods all of a sudden for golf. Hey, you can bulk up and lift weights and do
Sure.
stuff and still be good. So the pitchers kind of figured that out. But we really weren't supposed to do heavy weights.
I want you to walk me through Game 6 of the NLCS because we've never had a chance to talk to you about it. You're looming for Game 7.
Yeah.
I think you threw a 3-hitter, a 2-hitter in Game 5. So everyone knows they're going back to you. You know, Gooden did not have a great postseason for the Mets that year.
Gooden had a great postseason.
He had a tough time winning games.
Well,
he pitched well in some games, but he doesn't have a great win-loss record.
Oh, well, maybe career, but against us, Game 1, he lost 1-0.
Right.
I think he pitched against Nolan in Game 4 or 5, whatever, and went 10 innings, and they both went deep into the game. I don't think he won a game, but I think he got a no decision and a loss and maybe gave up 3 runs at the most. And
so now here you are sitting in the dugout.
Yeah.
And it's back and forth, back and forth. The Mets put a 3 spot up in the 16th.
Yeah.
You guys come back with 2.
Yeah.
I forget who's on second base, but I remember you had a man in scoring position.
Oh, yeah, I think on third. Kevin
Was it
Bass
third?
was hitting.
And Bass is up, and
Yeah.
Jesse Ross was there in a full count.
Oh.
Now, a single ties the game, a home run, we're going to Game 7, and they keep showing you in the dugout because you're the guy.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what's going on in your mind as that thing played out?
Well, obviously I want us to win.
Of course.
And then I'm thinking, well, this is great. If I go to Game 7, get knocked around, this is all for naught, you know. But you don't. I didn't go out there thinking ever that I was just could throw my glove out there and win a game. You know, I'm trying to get through the first inning. then try to get to the second
If
inning.
you were in a zone that you
Yeah,
Cy
I
Young
was.
Award winner.
I was in a. Yeah, the end of the year was probably the best run. You know, the last month of the season and through the playoffs, the best run I ever had. But you know, it ends sometime.
Now you admitted scuffing balls.
Yeah.
I know you were accused of it. Then
Oh,
you
yeah.
finally came out and said, "You know what? You can all go after yourselves. I was a scuffer."
I said that.
You said it just
Not like
that.
that. Not like quite like that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
like this. They call me Cy Young Award winner. Go F yourself. I scuffed, and so did Cy Young.
No.
Walk me through, like, how did you hide scuff, and where did you scuff?
Where did you get
How
that
do
I
you
said
do
that
it?
I did it?
You
I knew
did
this
it.
was coming. This
Yes,
is New
yes.
York
This is New
guys.
York. You are
Yeah,
definitely
no.
on point
I
right
want
here.
to. How do you scuff a ball and not get?
I'm
caught
writing
doing
a
it?
book, and it's been going on for like 30 years, and I'm almost done with it, and then everybody will know.
But yeah,
If,
you did.
if.
You did say you scuffed.
No,
didn't
I
you?
never did.
Then maybe Google's lying to me.
Yeah.
I thought
Oh.
you admitted to doing it.
No.
Okay, if a guy was
Okay,
going
if was
to
going
scuff
to.
the ball, what? How does that help?
I don't know how you could. If you watch those games,
Yeah.
and they didn't have the cameras that they have nowadays, but I was
Right.
in New York, and all of a sudden, I watched the tape after the game. Back they were on tapes. They're zooming in
Right.
on my glove, zooming in from center field. We're in New York during a playoff game, and I'm looking in, ready to get a sign, and they call timeout. Here comes the first base umpire, out of the blue. They don't do this. Nobody. He goes, Mike, give me the ball. Looks at it and gives it back to me. But they were told that, you know, I was.
Somebody was accusing you of something.
Oh yeah,
Obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was. Well,
Do you think they were trying to get you off your game, or
It might have got them off their game. You know, a couple of guys on their team, very few. They didn't say much. You know, there's a few guys. The
But
other
who
guys,
were
they
the
just-
guys that were saying something?
Well, Gary Carter's a great guy.
Yes,
He was on me. Keith Hernandez, Ray Knight said, just shut up. And if it's in the strike zone, hit it. Because
Right.
nothing. You know, he's been pitching all year.
Right.
Nothing's. We're gonna have to play. So quit worrying about stuff and hit. And you know, they just some of the guys I think have got
It
in
was,
their
it
head.
was probably as much mental as anything. You're dominating, so they got to come up with something. So you got to be doing something wrong, which you admitted
Yeah,
to
but
doing.
you know that
apparently.
ball had. So you know he did.
I mean, so what is a scuff ball like? What would change about the ball to make it harder for hitters?
I'm thinking it might move a little more. I'm not sure.
Well, that was the thing about it is that if I remember correctly, I remember that ball just moving and diving and I mean, I don't know, maybe that was the way it went the whole end of the year for you because you said you were on quite the run.
Well, you know, it's funny. They didn't do this, but nowadays and since then, every time the ball touches dirt, it's out of the game. I mean, if they
Right.
catcher short hops it, that usually is. But if the ball hits infield dirt, they just throw it out. I mean, I don't know how many balls they go
How
through a game.
would a guy, let's say my son pitches.
So he's basically saying he would throw it in the dirt, he'd get
Yes.
the ball back, and there was the natural scuff.
Well, here's the quote.
You throw one hopper to the catcher
This-
and get it back quick.
Right.
This is the quote people use against you.
Okay.
And again, you won a Cy Young Award. Who cares at this point? It's 25, 30 years since this series,
I wanna hear
and the
the
Mets
quote.
won it.
Yeah.
Quote from you. They can believe whatever they want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Every ball that hits the ground has something on it. I've thrown balls that were scuffed, but I haven't scuffed every ball that I've thrown.
Well, if it's on the
What-
internet,
what?
it has to be true. It has to be
There's
true.
an
right?
aspect of veracity in
Yeah.
that, yes.
I have thrown balls that, hey, you know what, this probably should be out of the game, but what the heck, I'm going to throw it. See,
Got
see,
it.
see if it moves.
So
See
you
if
did
it
not have
moves, it doesn't
sandpaper in your pocket.
Right.
You didn't have some type of
Something in your
wood
glove or something.
filing machine. You didn't go in the dugout.
Well, they
in the
had
back.
in Chicago one year, and this really blew up. We're playing the Cubs, and
Yep.
Jim Fry was he might even managed when I was with New York. I'm not sure, but he was the manager there at the time. And after the game, you know, the game's over. They said they found sandpaper on the mound, which, I mean, they might have, but it didn't come from me. But yeah,
Right.
it was a big deal. I
Was
said,
there a
well,
Negro in the game?
no, Joe wasn't there. No, he was there, but he wasn't in that game, and he didn't relieve, so it couldn't have been after me that game. But yeah, this was after the game, and I'm next at where'd this come? Well, why didn't they bring it out like right now? You know,
Is
bring
it-
it out during the game.
Is it possible that, and I'm saying this respectfully, that
Yeah, okay.
guys viewed Mike Scott? You know, you were Met early on. You drafted for Danny Heap, if I have it correct.
Traded for
Traded.
Danny.
Traded
Yeah.
for Danny Heap, right? And I'm trying to figure out, do you think you got to a point where that year you suddenly were so good, people refused to accept the fact that you weren't doing something because who's Mike Scott to win a Cy Young?
Yeah, well, it could
Is there
be.
a part of that,
Yeah.
maybe?
I think when you get to the top, people are going to take shots.
Sure.
You know, that's
I-
kind of what that's.
I deal with it every day.
Natural. Yeah, it's tough.
We're
isn't it?
talking to Mike Scott, former Met, of course, 1986 Cy Young Award winner, and was the MVP of that series despite losing. I wonder what that part of it's like where at some point when they present you with
Oh, yeah.
the MVP trophy, you got to be miserable.
It was weird. I mean, we're just, I'll tell you, when that game ended, you're not thinking while the game's going on, if we lose, we can pack our bags and drive home. It doesn't even cross your mind. And then it did. And so we're all in the clubhouse, they're celebrating, and then they dragged me out of there into a, private, they didn't have the big press things, and here you go. And
Here's your plaque.
Yeah,
It had to be a weird dynamic.
Is it up in your house?
Yeah, it is. But you know what?
display
Honestly,
it.
I don't even know where. I'm glad it's nice to get, but I couldn't even tell you what it looks like.
Would you give it to me?
Yeah, you can have it.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
you know what? I think it is holding a bunch of like old scorecards or something. It's on a shelf somewhere.
I will tell you, if you will
Okay.
give it to me,
On a
I'll make
shelf
sure it gets
somewhere.
good use and people see it.
Yeah.
Where's the Cy Young Award? Where's
That's
that?
it's in I have a game room up there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Can
that's
I have
really
that?
an understated little. It's not. It's a cool deal.
But is it the Cy Young Award? It's a trophy when
No,
you got
it's
it?
a
or
little plaque. It's a plaque,
plaque.
probably not bigger than your laptop.
They don't
It's
give you
cool.
like a whole thing, like you in action, something better than that, or a
No,
picture of
no.
Cy Young?
Very
So what
understated.
can I have? I can have the MVP
I have a couple
trophy
of bobbleheads.
of yourself.
Yes.
So here's what I'd like. I'll take one bobblehead
Okay.
and the Cy Young Award.
No.
With the promise that whenever you want it back, I just give it back to you. And I'll display it in our studio. That sounds like a good deal. Then next time you come to New
we'll
York,
think
I'll
about
just give
that.
it back to you.
A bobblehead of Mike Scott in our studio.
And the Cy Young
and the
Award
Cy Young
trophy.
Award, I see, okay.
Right behind where I sit.
Yeah.
As a reminder that when I was a Met fan, they won.
Well, the Mets. I mean, he beat the Mets for sure, but the Mets
Yeah.
beat his team. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, do you still love baseball? Do you still throw ball around? Do you watch baseball?
I couldn't throw a ball. I have, a couple times I lob it up there if I have to throw out a pitch, but I'll watch the playoffs. I did it for a long time, and I can't watch during the season that much. The Astros are going to be great next year. I think they're
Right.
fun to watch again.
Do
but
you find baseball to be unacceptably boring?
I can't say that.
You
but
do.
I like hockey better now.
Boy, that's what I'm talking about. See, somebody
You
does care
are
about
like
hockey.
you
I
can't
it.
like a regular random
Right.
game in May. No way you can watch 9 innings, right?
Probably not.
I'm with you
But
on
no
that.
disrespect for that. I just, I've done it.
Who's your hockey team of choice? That's what I really care
We've
about.
had duck tickets for, I'll bet you, 15 years.
There you go. He
For
lives
what,
in
for the
Anaheim.
Kings?
now.
Yeah.
There you go. No, the Ducks.
Oh, the Ducks?
The
I don't
Ducks.
know.
Anaheim Ducks.
San Jose Sharks?
No,
They're
Anaheim.
there too.
Anaheim.
Yes,
Well,
Anaheim.
listen, any regrets about your career other than the scuffing thing or no?
No, it was fun. You know what? It was probably good that I came up with New York. I was telling
From
Boomer
what
earlier
standpoint?
that they weren't good, so I got to the big leagues quick. They weren't loaded with pitchers, and I got up there and got knocked around and beat up and learned how to handle the press when they,
Sure.
if you lose 15-0, they're going to the pitcher that gave up the 10 runs in 3
Right.
innings. It's like, what do you say? But it was tough, but it was a good experience for me to come up with them.
Was that being traded for Danny Heap, does that fuel you at all? Did you have
we
any?
were under the radar. That was like
Yeah.
a trade that I don't even know if it got in the papers.
Like anytime you face the Mets, was there
How about
Jones?
that?
Hey,
That's
just
amazing.
like self-respect. Like they got rid of me, I'm gonna go beat their ass.
No, because like I said, it was they drafted me. I got to the big leagues with them. It wasn't like I owe them. Nothing, none of that.
Do you think you would have been as good against the Mets in that series had you not scuffed the balls?
What balls you talking about? The bucket that they had after the.
And what is Mike Scott?
You're relentless.
Huh?
You're relentless.
I'm speaking for Met fans. They want to know.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
what does Mike Scott do today? Do you have a ball scuffing company?
I came out. I go, I'm going to do a radio show out there, and it's a New York thing. I go, okay, I know where this is going.
Yes,
Is
exactly.
it true that you started an internet-based company called WeScuffBalls.com to help high school kids get over on their teammates? Now, what are you doing these days? You retired totally?
I'm retired, yeah. Do a lot of traveling. Have 2 granddaughters that run around
congrats.
with them. But I'm going to, my wife and I are doing a safari next month,
Really?
and then doing a trip to Scotland to golf
Now,
trip
do
with
you
the guys.
sleep in a tent amongst the
We're
animals?
not sleeping in it. Well, it's a tent, but it's a really nice
It's a really
tent.
nice tent.
Yeah.
I mean, did he
It's
make
a-
that much money when he played?
No, but his wife
I didn't
is very
spend
smart.
it.
Oh, you
I-
didn't.
now
spend
I'm
it?
spending it.
So
Before,
now, is it a group of people, or is this like you and your wife and like?
it'll be like 12 in this one little camp.
And you know everyone, or it's
No,
randoms?
I'll know one other couple. So it's pretty high end. So it's not like we're roughing it.
You're like, it's like the Ritz-Carlton of tents.
Yes.
Like an elephant's not
Yes.
coming to get
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
I think it has running water and air conditioning and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
so it's not. It's not even. Are you even going to Africa? You might,
I might just sit in there and take pictures. And
now I would
Go to a
think
local zoo,
that
maybe.
I couldn't do that. Neither could Boomer. because of the 8 other strangers. That means small talk.
Yes.
So what do you do for a living?
So I scuff
What
balls.
did you?
What happens
It
if you
doesn't
run
work in
into
a
a New
football.
Yorker for 8 days? You want to start? Just come on.
You're
please.
okay with the randoms and meeting people and having the whole thing. I couldn't do that.
This?
No, like you're going to Africa or wherever you're
yeah,
going.
yeah.
So it's you and your wife, one other couple you're friends with.
Yeah.
But there's 8 other strangers that you're gonna spend quality time with. Like you're eating the eggs on a fire. Hey, what are you doing for a living?
I probably won't know
Oh,
their
I was a
names.
head
by
fun
the time
guy.
No, I think you kind of. I don't know. I haven't done this before,
I
so we'll go
recommend
your own
against
way.
it.
But I'm not a. I'm not
Or
a big
do
fan.
this. My last tip: when everyone else is sleeping,
Yeah.
go get a piece of meat and
Lay
put
it on.
under their sheets. So just in case one of the animals does break free, you're last. In any
point.
event, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, it is,
was great.
Mike.
Thanks,
it's great
guys.
to see you.
Enjoyed
Thanks
it.
for being good sports.
If you
Thanks
do
very
write
much.
that book, we'll certainly bring you back on.
I
I'd
will.
love
I
to
will.
hear
I'll bring
your,
the. What was I going to bring? A bobblehead.
You're bringing me the Cy Young Award
I
and
forgot
the
about
bobblehead.
that.
Okay.
And when you want it back, I just give it back to you.
Good
I
deal.
don't see why not.
Good to see you, Mike.
Got it.
Good seeing
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Mike
Actually
Scott,
great.
everybody. Originally a Met, and then, of course, an Astro who, thank God we didn't get to a Game 7. man.
Right, the best part about this, he wasn't pushing anything. Just came on to say hi.
You know why?
I like it.
'Cause,
I have nothing to push.
He has a buddy who loves me.
Oh, I see. That's how it works.
That's how it works.